Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Modesto. We're so happy that you're here with us today, and we're going to begin with some music. And the words to the first song are already up on the screen because our tech system is so with it. So would you please stand and join me in singing "The Lord is Good to Me"? The Lord is good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun, the rain, and the apple seed. The Lord is good to me. The Lord is good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun, the rain, and the apple seed. The Lord is good to me. One more time. The Lord is good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun, the rain, and the apple seed. The Lord is good to me. And next is "It's in Every One of Us." It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us to be free. Find yourself, open your eyes and see. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us here and now. It's in every one of us here and now. And next is "The Face of God." And here comes Carol. The face of God, I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, everyone. You sound wonderful. We're going to sing the Lord's Prayer now, so if you'd like to hook up with your neighbor, if you're not a hand holder, you're not obligated. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy Forgive our debtors, and leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. And Carol is going to come up and do the announcements.
Okay, this thing's too high up for me. There, maybe that'll work. Okay. Good morning. Any newcomers this morning? And then why not? Everybody bring somebody. We have a board meeting today, and if anyone has suggestions for the church or you just want to keep up with all the changes, today is May's board meeting, and you're all welcome to attend after service in the fireside room at 11:30. Holiday craft fair. We have vendor invitations available on the rear table in the sanctuary. If you find yourself at a fair or you see some crafts that you think would go over well here, please be sure to mention the artists, crafters, and services providers that we are looking for quality vendors. Feel free to take some vendor invitations to pass out. There they are. Okay. Story time and Crafters Corner. Every other Wednesday evening from 5:30 to 7, Donna hosts our Crafters Corner and Story Time in the children's room. If you have children or grandchildren who like to create things and read stories, here's an opportunity to get them out of the house while you run a few errands, or perhaps you can join in and get crafty. Talk to Donna Levera to confirm the dates. Prayer Pilgrims. Will the prayer pilgrims please stand? We got one standing already, and Margaret and Nancy back there. These are, and you're a what?
Ex officio.
Okay, ex officio. These are your prayer pilgrims who are available to pray with you after service. Our prayer pilgrims are committed to providing spiritual support to congregants and visitors as requested. The ones wearing stoles are on duty today and will be to the sides and rear of the sanctuary. Prayer pilgrims also make monthly wellness calls to all congregants and new attendees who are on our call list.
And I would announce to that both our prayer ministry and the prayer pilgrims are looking for anybody that would like to join us. And if you feel that call to go deeper into spirituality, you can talk to any one of us, including Richard when he's here. So we are looking to expand as the church is expanding. So we need that support. And the affirmation today, together, I am inspired. I am inspired to do all that is mine to do. And sometimes we don't know what is ours to do, but we get nudged and we figure it out. So we go from there. For today, Sunday the 20th, in truth, I cannot fail. My divine nature, the truth of who I am, is not simply a presence within me. It is the very essence of every cell of my body, every thought in my mind. A sense of failure in any undertaking is a fear-based thought in my mortal mind, and it has no reality in spiritual truth. Whatever the appearance may be, there is always a lesson, a spiritual awareness that will support and encourage me as I make future choices. As long as I remember to claim the good in every choice I make, there can be no failure in my life experiences. Today, I welcome every opportunity to make creative choice that perfectly expresses my true spiritual self. And from Romans 8:5, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit set their mind on the things of the Spirit.
We're now preparing for meditation. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. No need to make a plan, your heart will be your compass. Just lift your sails in faith and trust that you'll arrive. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery.
So make sure you're comfortable where you're sitting. Sit in a relaxed posture. And notice that the chair you're sitting in is supporting you. And it's easy to allow it to support you. And trust that it will support you. And as we take a breath, we breathe in the knowledge that God is right here where we are. And God is right there where you are. And allow yourself to gather any distractions, any challenges that may have been appearing in your life, and allow them to fall away into God. Trusting that God, the good, is supporting you. and knowing that the way that these things land can only happen in divine order. And again, with another breath, knowing that God is where you are and ordering all that's in your life, we move into the silence. And as we slowly return our awareness, we bring with us that God is our support and our foundation.
And take a deep breath. And join me back in the room. I went. Thank you, Carrie. Carrie is our LUT candidate, so you're going to be seeing a lot of her doing things with me on the platform, and she'll be speaking while I'm at Unity Village in a couple of weeks. So offer her support as you would me. I have to tell you, before I start my talk, I am so grateful and so blessed for this community. You guys demonstrated last week to my mom all that unity is. She was never left alone. She was lovingly tended and cared for. People gave up their seat for her so that she wouldn't have to traverse the whole fellowship hall to find a seat, and fixed a plate and brought it to her. And it brings great joy to my heart to know that what I knew about you, she now knows. So thank you. Thank you for being who you are and loving my mom as much as you love me. And now I'm going to go cry. Then there's that, you know. She's funny. She says, you know, we're driving back home, and she says, there were two things missing. It's my mom. And I said, what was that, Mom? She says, there was no scripture. And I said, well, I did tell 4 stories of women from the Bible. And she said, oh, that's right. Because, you know, Catholic Church, it starts, the scripture for today is... And then the other thing, and I had said, I know, the other one was communion, right? I said, we call that fellowship, and we do it after service, because it's a lot more fun. She's funny. But she was overjoyed, and she enjoyed her time here with you all. So thank you again so much. So we continue our journey towards ascension. And today's scripture is, it is finished. From John chapter 19, verse 30. And this is towards the end of Jesus' time on the cross. So, was he talking about his life was finished? Was he talking about something else? Was he talking about it was the end of his ministry as he knew it, and he was ready to pass the torch? Or was he, in fact, performing a demonstration for us of how we move through the endings in our life and transition into other things? So about 4 years ago, I was still teaching full-time and going to ministerial school part-time. It was a long day. And the school that I was teaching at was a very small school. There were 4 full-time teachers, a principal, and a secretary, and then we had support staff, like counselors and things like that, that would come on as needed. And we had about 60 kids or so. And it was a continuation school. How many of you are familiar with what a continuation school is? So, I know, you're all thinking I have the degenerates of the planet, right? Not necessarily true. Some of the kids that we had there were there because of attendance. Some had had unexpected illnesses or accidents that had kept them out of school and they had to catch up some credits. A couple of kids came over because they wanted to accelerate and graduate early. And some of them were disenfranchised. They were the kids on the fringe that didn't fit in to everything else and found a place to fit in with us. And yes, we had a few that showed up with ankle bracelets, and we had visits from parole officers doing drug tests and all kinds of fun stuff. So it was an eclectic mix. But the lovely thing about it was these weren't the kids who were expected to go to a 4-year university. These were the kids who were kicking and fighting and screaming just to graduate from high school. So when they did something great, we really celebrated it because it was way above expectations that others had for them, or they for themselves, for that matter. So there was a lot of celebration with that. And then there came a time in July of one year where I woke up and went, I am so done with this. I can't do it. I cannot do it. And literally in 24 hours made the decision to say, I'm out of here, retired, and never went back, other than to get my stuff. So on Thursday here, we do 2 classes, actually. I have a class from 2 to 4 and a class from 6:30 to 8:30. And we are exploring together the transitions that come up in our lives. And each class is kind of different, and they've kind of magically appeared in groups of what's familiar. I mean, there's in the classes, in one group, there's all the people who are doing this kind of transition, and then in another class, they're doing these 2 kinds of transitions, and it just kind of magically happened that way. Did it not, right? And so we're looking at the transitions in their lives, and our lives, because I'm going through them too. So transitions and endings have to happen. If they're not, we're probably 6 feet under. Because everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Everything. We went to college. We either quit or graduated. There was an ending. We raise our children. We throw them out, hopefully. And that parenting in that form ends. Not that parenting ever ends, trust me. But in that form where they're living with you 24/7 ends. They go to college and they graduate, and there's an ending. And a celebration, hopefully, because that's a big deal. I spent more time in college than I ever did in high school. And then there are the life transitions, where people come into our lives, and that relation serves us for a period of time, and then that may end, or change, or people die. These human people consider doing that often. And then we have the dog people in our lives who come and go. I'm still with the cranky child at my house. So I believe that on the cross, Jesus was showing us in a very concise 3 days how to begin an ending, how to stay in the void for a little time. That would be the time he was in the tomb. And then to start something new through his resurrection, which is the pattern of a transition. There's an ending, there's a void, and then it opens up to a new beginning. So, Robert Brummett, who wrote the book that we're working with, is this not the most brilliant thing y'all have ever read? Yeah. Yep. He's still alive and teaching, just so you know. He's still writing new books, all those kinds of things. So, I was roaming through my mind and Google and Robert Brummett, and I came up with these thoughts about endings. The good can't begin until the bad ends. How many of you have felt that way? Yeah, you can't, if you're in something that doesn't feel good, truly the new beginning can't start until that's over. Or at least processed and put in its place. Right? We need to learn how to prune out things in our lives that are toxic, dead, or simply unwanted. Too often, we keep things, people, situations in our lives that haven't served us for some time. How many of you have seen that in your own life or with other people? Yeah, it's easier to see it in other people, huh? Yeah. Everything in life has a season. I was married to my husband, the most recent one. I don't call him an ex because he's kind of still in my life. There was a season he and I were to be together. And we kind of knew it. We really didn't want to get married, but because he had 3 kids under 12, we thought it might be a good example to set. But truthfully, if it had been left up to us, we probably never would have. Because we kind of knew that this was not a till death do us part kind of thing. We knew it was a seasonal relationship. And it was rich. Trust me, it still is. And he's married to somebody else. Life always produces too much. Abundance is everywhere. And that means that if we say yes to this, it automatically means we've said no to something else. Whatever that may be, good, bad, or indifferent. Every time we say a yes, something else has fallen away or moved aside for a later time. And sometimes we need to get very uncomfortable in order to move forward. And if we don't do it when the little uncomfortableness comes and we hang out, then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's, pebble, rock, brick, 2x4, I-beam, wall, that kind of thing. Sometimes endings aren't a change of circumstance, but are a change of how we think about something. Ever done that? Where you had a situation and you were uncomfortable in it, and you just decided, well, I'm going to think about it this way instead of this way. And did the situation change? Sometimes not. So when I served at Clarity Academy for about 3.5, 4 years before they closed, we had this saying that we would change our state. So somebody would come in and they'd be all grumpy and they'd be all cranky. Now we're trying to put on a service, so we've got musicians and we've got speakers and we've got all these people that have to be, worked with. And somebody would come in after playing a late night gig, because we had professional musicians, and they'd be, doing that. And it's like, change your state. Change your state. And we got really good at taking stock of where our energy was and lifting it up and raising it and changing our state so that when we opened the service, everybody was up and high energy. When my Wesley passed away 2 months ago, he did it on a Saturday morning. Couldn't have waited till Monday. I had to change my state for Sunday service. I had to change my state to finish the talk that hadn't been finished writing. Because when he died, I did not have a talk for that Sunday. So I had to go deep within, change my state, do what is mine to do, and hang on to that until there came a time where I could let all that fall away, go back into my grief, and grieve my dude. And I did. So in finding yourself in transition, Robert Brummett says this about endings. Endings need to be honored and even celebrated. When something comes to an end, how many of you are attending graduations of some kind this year? High school, middle school, junior high, kindergarten, college? Yeah. That's an ending of something great. So they need to be celebrated. Sometimes when we lose a loved one, it's not about celebrating, although in Unity we call it celebration of life. We honor it, and we honor those who are in their grief. It's important to do that. He also says that we need to not minimize our endings. Some of them need to be mourned. This culture has a habit of, let go, let God, put it aside, you'll be fine, you just move through it, and just kind of poo-pooing it. No! Grieve it. Celebrate it if it needs to be celebrated. Allow yourself to feel, because that is what separates us from everything else, is our ability to feel all the feelings that come up. And if we do not feel those feelings, what happens is they wind up showing up as dis-ease in our bodies, mental or physical or emotional or spiritual. We have to feel. I have cried more in this church than I think in the last 10 years. Because you all make me feel it. Sometimes endings are not things that went wrong, but are things that are going very, very right. I knew it was time to stop public school teaching 4 years ago. And I went back. I'm gone again. I quit the day job. Because I know that is not mine to do anymore. This is what's God's plan for me right now. And I trust that this is the right thing to do. And in order to do this, I had to let that go. Not because it was bad or wrong, but because energetically it wasn't a fit for me anymore. That's not where God wanted me to be. took me, I should have left a year ago, to be perfectly honest with you. If you're perfectly honest, I shouldn't have started, but I did. Okay? There was a need that I needed to fill for a while, and when I did what I needed to do, that's when I should have stepped out, and I didn't. Every loss is permanent. Every single one. However, without that loss, there cannot be a new beginning. You can't step fully into the new stuff until you're done with the old stuff. You can't. You can't be halfway in recovery. Doesn't work. You can't be halfway in a marriage. Doesn't work. You're either all in or you're all out. So endings must happen in order for you to step fully into your purpose, whatever that may be. We need to honor our endings, not worship them. So what comes to mind when I read that statement is I lived in Gustine for a while, which is a very heavy Portuguese community. 99%, I think. And on festa days, they would have this parade of saints. And the widow women, the older widow women, would have the veils, and they would be in the black, and they would be on their knees to the saints, and they'd be wailing. It's like somebody hadn't died for 10 years. But that was part of their tradition. And they were honoring their ancestors by doing that. But when we take that and live like that all the time and worship the ending as if it's the only thing left for us, that's where we make a bit of a mistake. We don't want to stay, because that keeps us in the ending. If we're staying in the worship portion of it, we cannot move into the potentiality of a new beginning if we're holding on to the past. So endings impact us in one of four ways. The first one, and so there's four words, they're all D words, just so you know. So it doesn't mean that you start with this one, and then go to this one, and then go to this one, and then go to that one. That's not how they work. You might experience one of them, two of them, all of them, none of them, probably at least one. So here they are. The first one is disengagement. So for me, with the school thing, I was disengaging long before I left. My heart wasn't in it. And that's disengagement. Your heart's just not in it anymore. I can't do that. I don't want to go there. I can't, it just doesn't feel right. Anybody got that one going? Yes. Disidentification. Disidentification is when we don't identify as that any longer. I'm not that wife. I'm not that teacher. So when people ask me what I do, I don't say I'm a teacher anymore, even though I teach here. I'm a minister. That's how I identify myself. Not as teacher, although I was teacher for 28 years. Disenchantment. This is probably the one that most everybody experiences with like job changes or career stuff, is we just become completely disenchanted with the whole idea of being there. I don't like it. I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to be there. So we get disenchanted with what that reality is for us. And then the last one is disorientation. Disorientation probably shows up for me in grief. That part where you have lost someone close to you and you no longer really have a clue about which road to take. And you're a little disoriented. I would expect that when I was in recovery, disorientation showed up too. It's like, well, if I'm not doing that, drinking, smoking, drugging, eating, then what am I supposed to do? I knit. So when Jesus said, "It is finished," I truly believe that it was a demonstration for us on how, kind of like a quick course on how to move through transitions. I'm on the cross. It's finished. I'm ending my ministry on earth. I'm passing the torch to my disciples, to my mother, and to those who followed me while I was here. And then going into the tomb and resting for 3 days, the void, and then the resurrection indicating a new beginning and a new start. And for each one of us, we all go through those on some level. Thankfully, not to that degree. Although sometimes it might feel like that, I would imagine. Especially if you've lost someone close to you. So the beauty of endings is this. There's now a blank slate before you. And you get to write anything you want on it. And as Bugs Bunny says, that's all, folks.
When my hands were emptied, when my hope was gone, I couldn't help but wonder, what had I done wrong? But though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be opened to put something better there. Into my empty hands, gently you poured new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubt it. I admit I sometimes do, or consider giving up because I cannot see the truth. I know I'll never go without it. Your deep and abiding love. Into my empty hands, gently you poured new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be, and I cannot help but cry to think of the gifts you've given me. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. you for my empty hands.
At the back of the sanctuary, we have our prayer box where we put in our requests for anyone or any situation that we're concerned about. And when we do, we put it in there and relax and let go and know, as Reverend Cindy told us, it is done. So let us remember that as we join together right now, reminding ourselves that there's only one power, one presence, and one love, a strong healing life force in, through, and around us, and in, through, and around, permeating every person and situation that we have requested a prayer for. And let us know that each and every person and situation is healed, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, financially, whatever the situation, it is done. And so it is. Amen.
It is time for our love offering. Can you hear me now? Are we on? Yep. Really? Okay. Doesn't sound like it in here. So I just want, the music department and Margaret and all of them are so amazing. All I give Margaret is my talk titles. That's it. I do not tell her what I'm talking about or what the content of my talk is, ever. And she winds up pulling the absolute most perfect music for each and every Sunday. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's time for our love offering. Because there is more abundance on this planet than we know or can experience. So say with me our offering statement, if you please. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
And please join me in singing If Love Is Why I'm Here. We're skipping the center part and doing the first two verses. If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. If love is why we're here, let us be an open channel. If love is why we're here, let us give and then receive. If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive.
And the key here is, as we give, so shall we receive. Because abundance is everywhere. And it is unlimited in all its forms. And we know in our divine hearts that what we do here makes a difference. Through our tithes and love offerings, through attending service on Sunday, through attending classes, through communion with each other. It makes a difference. and we're blessed. So we receive these love offerings and tithes, knowing that they are a demonstration of the greatness that is Unity of Modesto, a demonstration of the love and the heart of this community for each other, for our community, and for our world. And together we say, Amen.
And at this time, we're going to make a circle around the sanctuary in preparation for saying the
We're making a circle.
prayer for protection. There it is. And then we'll finish up with the peace song.
Circle. Circle. We'll make you spin. No spinning.
We can do this.
I know.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now let's say our prayer for protection, because we kind of slipped over that.
I'm sorry.
Ready? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a blessed week, everyone.